Well, welcome back to part two of our live chat show on a Thursday. Tony Currie, Sheffield United legend, remains with us, as does Ian Richards, the manager of Penistone Church FC, and his brother, Duncan, who is assistant manager at Penistone.
Definitely.
It's shades of the Cowley brothers at Lincoln, yeah?
Yeah, not the first to have made that connection or made that reference to...
Really?
Well, we're both PE background. Yes, unfortunately, no, we're both PE background teachers as well, so it's kind of developed as we've gone on. So it's been, it's quite a good...
Similar ages? I mean, you've been there 10 years. Have you been there for
10 years, yeah.
as well?
Testimonial this year. Not heard anything about it yet from the gaffer. But...
Do you know that's a long time at any level of football to be in a job, isn't it? I don't want to tempt fate, but 10 years in charge is...
Yeah, it's good. We've had really good backing. Obviously, Dave Hampshire entrusted us a lot over the last 10 years, and hopefully he's pleased with what he's seen with the club on and off the pitch.
I hope your discipline is good, because I know Keith Hackett is your president. So, presumably, you don't ever get anybody sent off or...
when we play workshop, so a couple of weeks.
We're going to come to that.
His discipline is slightly better than mine.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit hot.
I'm a little bit calm on the side than he is.
You're the voluble one.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that, and I came Bottisford United, and I said to Keith, "Who's that on the is that Ian Richards?" No, he said, "That's his brother." Yeah. You were shouting on the touchline there. Right, you've got that big game coming out, and there were 4 players sent off the last time you played at Worksop.
Yes.
2 of each team, I think.
Yeah, after the whistle, a little bit of untidiness, let's say.
Untidiness. Yeah. Yes, you could say that. Yeah. A fracas. We always politely referred to it as a fracas. Were you ever sent off?
No comment.
apart from by your wife, I'm sure.
3 times.
3 times?
3 times. At Everton, on the far side. 2 bookings in 3 minutes.
Right.
And I didn't deserve it, but I did the long walk right across Goodison.
Yeah.
And the first one, I deserved it. I went over the thigh, never mind the over the top. For 20 minutes. It was one of them Texaco Cup games against Peterborough. We still won 4-1 with 10 men. So.
Yeah, you were more fouled against than fouling, I would definitely say.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, without any question. Last time you were in here, you were tipping Sheffield United for the top 2, which was last season. Few people scoffed, but had Paul Coots not been injured and 1 or 2 other things, you never know. You're tipping them again. But other things that have changed since then. Since that time, you've had the South Stand named after you. It's now the Tony Currie Stand, and you're now on the board as a Blades director. How are you enjoying that part of it?
It's been a fantastic year. The club gave me because it was 50 years since I signed on. Yes, folks, I'm that old. And they celebrated with This Is Your Life last February, a golf day in September, and they opened the stand. Named the stand after me, which is absolutely fantastic, in the Inter Milan pre-season game. So that was brilliant, and the chairman rang me up and said, "We'd like you to be on the board," and I wondered who it was. I thought I thought it was a joke, but no joke, and it's just a tremendous honour. I'm totally humbled, and it's just an unbelievable gesture. Yeah. A great honour.
How do you find board meetings? Do you take a good book, or...?
There's only been the 2 so far, and 1 I was on holiday in Spain.
So you've got a flyly there?
No, I listened to it on the, what do they call it, Link Line or something. So I was listening to it and made a few comments here and there, but... I didn't butt in, I was asked to comment, so... No, it's just fantastic to see. It's just a lovely honour, and I'm so proud that I'm a director of this club. It's.
How much would it mean to you to see Sheffield United in the top flight again after all these years?
Well, I've been waiting for a while now. Yeah, we've only been in the top flight 5 years since I left. Which is criminal for a club like ours. I mean, 4 years under Dave Bassett and a year under Neil Warnock. The rest of the time we've, obviously not been in that top flight. So, for a club with a history, and history means nothing, obviously. If, you get there on merit, as we've seen Bournemouth do and Oldham in the past and people like that. But you know, I think we can do it, and it's about time. And this manager and this team and this squad and the management as well, it's all geared up to going up this season.
People like to make comparisons, and direct comparisons are impossible, and people say it's the best looking football, apart from being successful and effective, the best looking football since, well, I saw one person mentioning briefly the team under Nigel Spackman, but I can remember I'm old enough to remember you and Alan Woodward and your team, and is it the best since then, would you say?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, I'm hard to please, but I enjoy watching the game. Watching this lot play is fantastic to watch. And compared to our team, and perhaps there's not so many alive now that used to watch us, but we had 5 or 6 players that were match winners, and you know, Billy Deard and Alan Woodward, Jeff Sammers, myself, Gil Rees, Eddie Colloon, you know, John Flynn, and etc. Len Badger, obviously, Ted, and the fans love to watch us play, and I think they used to go home, whether we won, lost, or drew, they went home happy because they saw that team doing their best. Now, we played after October. There was only grass on the wings, so we couldn't play how they play now. You know, ping pong stuff. It's fabulous to watch, but it was more the long ball and from me and the speed merchants that I could put a ball where I wanted, and they'd run onto it, and it was great to watch. Woody had finished. I used to hit a ball to Woody 40, 50 yards, and then if it was 1 against 1, I just stood there with my hands in the air, knew it was a goal. And that's how we played in them days, and they loved watching it. Dave Bassett's teams, Neil Warnock's teams, they were a bit different. But this team is, yes, absolutely just fantastic to watch. The football's brilliant. Flying wing backs, flying centre backs.
Never seen the like.
Dean Henderson will be coming up the wing soon, I tell you.
That may not be such a stupid comment. Yeah. You do have overlapping centre backs.
No, centre backs are told head and kick it.
Right.
That's it.
Most are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Most are.
Not to join in and play.
Before we bring James Gregg in for his roundup, and we'll go going back to Tony for more on the big game. Your big game, and well, first of all, just how does this work between you two before we talk about this big clash with Worksop?
So how is it with the management?
Yes, between you two.
So Ian will do the preparation. Ian's meticulous. He's got probably every manager in the league and other leagues on his phone. He'll ring and text and ask for information. He'll do all the set pieces the night before, the morning of the game. We'll arrive. Ian will do his talk, get the lads ready. Then they're out with me for the warm-up. Back in, last bits and bobs from the gaffer, and then we're at him. And then from the sideline, he's quite quiet, reserved. I'm the one who shouts on. Ian's more pulling.
Is that by design or because naturally you're...
Probably more to personalities, I would have thought. Yeah.
Now then, tell me what happened in this game when you last played Worksop. The top two fighting it out, and they won 1-0.
They did on a penalty, 90th minute. Yeah.
It was a penalty by...
Yeah.
You accept that?
Oh, definitely. Definitely just got caught at a corner. It was our corner. They've broken us really quickly. Jordan Kaduri, the lads at the back, he's just dove in instead of standing up in the corner. Penalty, and the lads done well. 90th minute, great composure to stick it in.
So then, how do 4 players then come to get sent off after the final?
Well, I'll let Ian explain that, because I was not in the middle of it trying to do anything, but other than split them up, I was peacemaker, whereas Ian took himself away, so he might be able to explain it a bit
Go
more.
on then, Ian.
Yeah, in terms of the game, the performance, we were the better team, but ultimately it was about the result, and they scored in the last minute, but the performance was very strong. And I think that, because the way that the manner that they scored, sort of, there was a little bit of needle after the whistle. A little bit of our fans were giving some of their players a little bit of banter, and one of their players turned and said something to the fans, and some of our players took a dislike to it and then went in and pushed him, he pushed back. Then before you know it, you've got 16 players pushing and shouting and getting a bit carried away after the whistle. I stood back, Duncan and Craig and Rob of Workshop Management Team trying to step in and split it up. The referee took himself out of it. The referee called 2 of our players over and sent them off, and I thought, we've had 2 sent off here, they've not had anybody. But then as we've all gone in the change room, he's called out 2 of their players and sent them off after the whistle in the tunnel.
Is there any danger of a spillover then when you meet a week on Saturday?
Yeah, well, going on that, we've only had 21 cautions this season, the fewest in the league. So again, it's something we pride ourselves on, and discipline in the way we conduct ourselves. We won't be using that as a tactic of a way to antagonise their players or the referee. But like you said earlier, there could be 1,000 people watching, and at our level, that's a phenomenal number. It is first and second going against each other, so it'll be 2 teams going at it 100% to win the game. I'll make sure our players conduct themselves in the right manner, but emotion is high, and you never know with emotion what could happen.
So you just watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be on a tight rein. You'll be on a tight rein.
Best behaviour.
Ian, we'll hear more from you in a moment, and it's been a pleasure also to meet you as well.
You too.
Duncan, I'm sorry there's a substitution.
No, it's quite. I'm used to this season.
It's purely tactical, mate. Don't take it
I
personally.
I think he's trying to retire me personally.
Thanks ever so much. Do you know the only team to score at Bramall Lane this year, 2019, is 2019 the only team, away team, to score a goal at Bramall Lane?
Go on. You're going to say Leeds? No.
Barnet.
Oh, Barnet, of course. Barnet,
FA Cup, right?
My home borough now. It used to be Hendon, but now Hendon's in the borough of Barnet now, but there you go.
Since the turn of the year.
Barnet, of course.
Yeah, Sheffield United equalled a second-tier record the other night, 7 successive home wins without conceding a goal. That goes back to Portsmouth in 1985, so they've equalled that. But in the middle of all of that, your nephew, Darren, came and that was a superb performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was proud of that. He was over the moon, as they say. It was a great performance. Yeah, we didn't really do too much on that.
There was a lot of changes
on the day. Yeah, there was. Well, I think it was 11 changes, wasn't it? Was it?
But still a very experienced.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. I thought we.
That must have been difficult for you that day, because part of you is elated for Darren, and the other part is despondent. Yeah, no. Yeah. To put it politely, James. Yeah.
No. I was expecting us to win. I wanted us to win. You know.
Yeah.
But I didn't want us to win 7 or 8-0, obviously. But no, a bit of a shock. But it was great. They're not doing too well. Barnet. I thought they'd pick up since they made him permanent manager. And he deserves it because he's been around in that and since he packed him playing. So.
You're a Barnet fan, aren't you?
A bit of a closet Barnet fan. Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, they're not doing too well, but they've got lots of games in hand, Alan.
Yes, I've noticed. Yeah.
So.
I'm a bit nervous about that. Chesterfield still need a result.
They do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
it's tough though. That non-league though now that you've got some teams who you've never really heard of, and they're sort of coming up. You know, I mean, you think of the top 5 tiers teams. You know, Penistone Church could be there one day, and people go, "Who are these?" You know, couldn't they? Because there's teams surging up there. I know Salford are a different entity, but Boreham Wood and teams like that. It's all to play for.
It's an expanding area of population. There's a lot of new houses there. I noticed when I came to watch you. Don't worry, I'm not coming back. Ever.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. So, James, huge amounts going on all over the place.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, absolutely. You and I were both there on Tuesday night as the Blades got that 2-0 victory against Brentford. Fantastic victory, sort of different victory to what we used to seeing, but important 3 points nonetheless. Sets it up nicely for that game against Leeds United, 12:30 on Saturday afternoon. I mean, we could wax lyrical about it all evening, but it's a massive game. We'll leave it at that. Sheffield Wednesday, good win for them as well midweek against Bolton. They've got their Lancashire sort of nearby rivals. They've got Blackburn on Saturday at Hillsborough, 3 p.m. for the Owls in that one. We'll run through all the non-league action because we've had a few tweets this week, particularly with the interest of these two coming on the show tonight, asking me to sort of run through all the non-league action that's going on. So we'll start with Hallam. Great 3-0 win over Swallownest last week, and that was an important victory for them because they go into this weekend's game against Campion, just a point behind them. They've both got a few games in hand. It's a bit like a Leeds United versus Sheffield United kind of fixture. If the winners of that game, you'd very much fancy them for automatic promotion.
Yeah, let's hope Hallam do it this year. They've been knocking on the door, you know.
They have for a few years. Obviously, under Ryan Hindley, a couple of playoffs.
Just breaking it. Just having one promotion place doesn't seem right to me.
No,
it's wrong. That.
No.
Ours is the hardest league to get out of in the non-league pyramid because there's usually 2 go up or 2 in a playoff. So it's very difficult. Your consistency levels have to be extremely high.
It's difficult, that, isn't it?
It is. And you look at previous winners of our league, they're normally a team with a huge financial resource or a huge catchment area or big club at our level like Worksop Town. So for us to do it, it'd be a special achievement, really.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it'd be a special achievement for Hallam as well in their league. Definitely, wouldn't it? So that's Campion this weekend, 3 p.m. Sandygate, if you want to go to that one. Sheffield FC, they're 5th in their league. They've sort of snuck about their business quietly this season. They've got Stamford away from home, but also in that league, though, it's Stocksbridge Park Steels. They've got Cleethorpes at home if you want to go and see some Evo Stick League action this weekend. Worksop, of course, who we've already touched on a little bit in the programme. Of course, last week as well, we talked about their season ticket offer that they've been going for. They've got Hull Road Rangers this weekend. They're, of course, top. With these lot breathing down the necks, they've got a week off at Penistone Church. So that's good. You dig your stats out your pocket.
I've got a message earlier. Somebody, I've just had that many messages. Go on.
Oh, God, so popular. So
no, it's not that. It's just I'm trying to get the stats on this Worksop record. Go on.
Okay, do it. Yeah, Sheffield United ladies, they beat Palace 2-0 last Sunday. Good win for them. They're up to 8th in the Women's Championship now, under Carla Ward's first season in charge of United in that new Women's Super League setup. Sheffield Sharks in basketball now, they've got Worcester Wolves tomorrow night away from home. But what about the Sheffield Eagles? I've been talking about them for the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks about what a good start they've had to their season in the Rugby League's Championship, and it continues. They're second, a game in hand on Toronto, who are above them. They're top of that table. They've got Dewsbury away from home on Sunday. The Steelers, they're up to 6th after a good win at home to Fife last weekend. They lost an overtime away from home, though, 5-4, disappointingly. They've only got 1 game this weekend, playing against Cardiff Devils, who are top. So that's a tough game, but a good one to go to if you want to go into the arena on Saturday night. And Matthew Fitzpatrick in action this weekend at the Players' Championship after a great week last week where he finished second in the Arnold Palmer Bay Hill.
Out in the end, just right at the end.
He did, yeah, it was right at the end. And also, whilst Alan digs these stats up, if you want your club mentioned on here and you think, why don't they ever mention so and so or whatever? I know there's loads of stuff going on, but if you do send me a tweet at JamesGreg7 or him, Alan Biggs1, we can try and give him a mention next week.
Yeah, it's your fault it's not getting on, not his or me.
Yeah, so, that's it. I'm just passing the blame on to you.
Okay, right. This stat about Worksop, right? Yeah. It's come from Lance Hardy, who's doing a fair bit behind the scenes for them. BBC football producer, actually. He said he spent hours, days, I think, this week. The only way to nail down this sequence of 10 successive wins in terms of history was to go into Worksop Library and to look down the results of every season, right? So he's trawled through. So he hasn't slept much this week, but he says it's confirmed that if Worksop beat Hull Road Rangers on Saturday, it'll set a new club record of 11 successive league wins, dating all the way back to their first season in the Sheffield and District Football League, which was in 1892-93. So you can tell the amount of work he's done researching all that this week. History in the making. So good luck to them on Saturday. They're allowed to win on Saturday, aren't they?
They are the huge favourites for that game. Hull Road Rangers are in the bottom 2, so the big favourites for that.
That's a funny thing. Well, not so funny, but the twists and turns can come. You know, people are building up this Sheffield United Leeds game as defining, but actually it won't decide anything. Sometimes the results, defeats for teams competing can come when you least expect it, can't they?
That you don't getting on at the end of the season, the teams at the bottom are down there for obvious reasons, but they're fighting for their lives, and results can. I mean, I know QPR are down a bit, but Rotherham pick up 3 points at QPR. You know, and another one of them in the next 2 or 3 games, and then they could be creeping out of it. And this league, anybody can beat anybody on the day, and I suppose it's the same in most leagues. But it's just a strange league, and you see West Brom up there, and then they lose 3 on the trot, 4 on the trot, or whatever. Look at Villa, where they are. Everybody tipped them. Swansea. You know, it's every game it can change week to week, and it has done.
And I mean, obviously, you had 2 difficult games against Rotherham, particularly the first one, not so much the second one.
Just shows you, doesn't it? I mean, they're down there, and they're certainly not the worst team I've seen at Bramall Lane. Definitely not. And by some stretch, I can think of 5 or 6 that are worse that I've seen. I know it's only on one day that you sort of see them, but you think, blimey heck, and it's just ridiculous, isn't it? What's it like in your league for that? Is it is there a big gulf between the top and the bottom? You know, give people some idea of what it's like.
Yeah, I'd say it's been an open league this year.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the bottom 4 or 5, then they're down there, like Tony says, for a reason. But any team from sort of 12 upwards can beat anyone. The games we've lost haven't been against our closest rivals. We've done very well. We've lost to, for example, Garforth, who were 14th, Eccleshill, who were 11th, Bottisford, who were 10th. Yeah. So you can see that like you were talking about there, it comes at the most surprising time. So even though we've got Worksop and we've got 8 games to go and they'll have 7, whoever wins that doesn't mean they're going to win the league. It just means they've got an advantage going into the final games.
Yeah. Elland Road Saturday, Tony. Presumably you'll get a good reception from both sets of supporters. And you know, Sheffield United people going to Blades at Elland Road don't very often get a good reception, and vice versa, do they? Really?
Yeah, I hope so. I always have done before.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll be introduced to the crowd or anything like that. But and I'll be in the boardroom and in the director's box, so, you know, enjoying the game. Hopefully it should be a great football game and great derby, as it were, and 2-1 to us.
Marcelo,
nice prediction without even teasing it out of him, Alan.
I knew it was coming, don't worry.
Yeah. He's even given us the score.
Yeah, no,
he said in part 1.
Got to prize it out of him a few weeks ago for the Wednesday United game. Tony straight in, love that.
Yeah.
The least said about the Sheffield derby, the better. I don't think we want to talk about that.
No.
When was that?
Yeah, exactly. That'll do. Marcelo Bielsa and the impact he's had and the way Leeds play, as you say, it's a very pleasing on the eye style as well, isn't it, really?
Yeah, like I said, it's nice to see them up there, and I just hope that they can go up with us.
But there's Norwich.
And there's Norwich, obviously, yeah, they've been putting games together, and it obviously it'll be 2 out of them 3, I'd say obviously, but I would think that'll be the thing, and I just hope it's the 2 Yorkshire clubs, because there's not that many Yorkshire. Well, there's only the one, isn't there, at the moment?
Huddersfield, yeah.
And that's temporary.
They won't be there next season.
That county over the Pennines had far too many people, clubs.
Whatever
in it,
county that is, they have.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that should be. Why there's that geographical imbalance between the 2. You can cut the country down the middle, apart from that northeast pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they get some Premier League up there from time to time. Oh, well, it's been a pleasure to see everybody. It's been fantastic, Tony, and thanks so much for coming in again.
No problem. Fish and chips on the way home, is it?
Yeah, on me. Yeah, on me. As you say, you won't stay for a pint. He's turned us down for a pint.
Sorry.
That's all right. And Ian, best of luck for the rest of the season. It's been a pleasure to see you, and good luck to everybody at Penistone Church. And thanks for your
good luck, boys.
Yeah, Bro Duncan coming in as well. Is he your younger brother?
He is, yeah. I've just aged better.
Right.
Yeah, you have.
James, thanks to you as well. It's on my YouTube later. Thanks for your company, and see you again next week. Bye now. Bye.